Thank you to everyone for joining us today. Welcome to our showcase series, Surrey, and we are very excited to be here to host this event virtually. Over the last 2 years, Life Sciences BC and our community have fortunately embraced virtual events. We are grateful that we can still continue to discuss and draw attention to the extraordinary work being done in the life sciences sector in BC. We are joined today by a fantastic lineup of speakers who will be presenting on the current research and development being done in the Surrey area. And we also look forward to returning soon to live in-person events. As we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm joining this event from the ancestral, traditional, and unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, including the territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. I would also like to acknowledge that others are joining us from other traditional and unceded Indigenous territories across this beautiful province and country. For those of you who do not know, Life Sciences BC is a non-governmental, not-for-profit organization. Our members consist of academia, research institutions, centers of excellence, and funding agencies, emerging small and medium-sized and growing digital health, medtech, therapeutic companies, and those who support the broad life sciences ecosystem. We are funded through membership and the generous contributions of our sponsors and partners. This event was made possible by the support of our sponsors, all of whom are with us today. Our event partners, Michael Smith Health Research BC, Silicon Valley Bank, STEMCELL Technologies, and our event supporter, the Surrey Board of Trade. And thank you. Your investment in LSBC and the life sciences ecosystem is invaluable, and we are thankful for your support. At each event, we like to announce our newest members. I'm very proud to announce our newest members who are Empower Psychedelics, Port Communities, and Sustain Therapeutics. We're always welcoming new members, and please reach out to any of us at LSBC or go to our website, lifesciencesbc.ca, for more information. And now on to the program. I would first like to welcome Dr. Danielle Lavallee, Acting Vice President, Michael Smith Health Research BC, who will introduce our first speaker of the event. Over to you, Danielle.
Thanks, Ryan, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm joining today from the unceded and traditional territories of the Coast Salish people, including the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. I'd like to express our gratitude to Life Sciences BC for organizing a fantastic event that highlights the vibrant research and life sciences in Surrey. On a personal note, I have great fondness for Surrey, as that's where my partner was born and raised. And so when I came to BC for the first time, my introduction was through Surrey. I'm so excited to be part of this event today. For those of you who might not be familiar with Michael Smith Health Research BC, we are BC's health research agency, focused on fostering health research capacity in all regions of the province to advance research relevant to all communities and to leverage the unique strengths of support of each region that ultimately benefit the province as a whole. An essential aspect of our work is supporting research that really is relevant to the local communities for which we serve. In support of this, we work in partnership to strengthen local health research capacity across all regions of the province. Since we began in 2001, Health Research BC has invested $44 million through 253 grants, awards, and initiatives for researchers in the Fraser region based at a number of organizations, which include Simon Fraser University, Trinity Western University, and Fraser Health Authority, where our next speaker is based. And so it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Janice Sorensen, who is one of Health Research BC's recently funded Convening and Collaborating Program awardees. Dr. Sorensen is the leader for clinical research in long-term care and assisted living at Fraser Health. She provides leadership in the management of capacity building, collaboration, support, and execution of research grounded in integrated knowledge translation across the sector in the region. Dr. Sorensen also serves as a clinical and research mentor to students, dietitians, and healthcare professionals. Today, Dr. Sorensen will be presenting her team's findings on how to improve pandemic preparedness in long-term care homes through a team-based quality improvement collaborative. With that, Dr. Sorensen, I will pass the unmute button over to you, and I look forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Danielle, for the introduction, and also thank you to Life Sciences BC for the invitation to present, Michael Smith and our government of BC for the funding for the project that I'll be presenting today. So just need to share my slides here. All right. So I have the pleasure to present some results from a study. It's entitled Implementation of a Team-Based Quality Improvement Collaborative Approach to Pandemic Preparedness in Long-Term Care Homes, and for short, the PAPLOC study. And this study is within our group within long-term care and assisted living. And just to give a little bit of background within our sector in Fraser Health, our mission is to deliver exceptional quality and excellence in care amidst the comforts of home. And within that, we have a strong focus within promoting comfort, caring, and connection for those that live in our homes, visit and family, and those that work. Alongside that, to achieve this mission and our aims, we really value as one of our core pillars excellence through quality research, education, and innovation, which is where this project comes about within the support within our sector within research and creation of my role actually. And just prior to this study, this was our first study we had within our group. So I started in the sector in July of 2020. And we really highly value partnerships and collaborations. And that's very much the essence within this project that I'll be presenting of this PAPLOC study. So it came about from some opportunity of funding through the Canadian Institutes of Health Research program, and then also partnership funding, of which in our province we had Michael Smith Health Research BC, and also the government of BC, the Ministry of Health, that provided some funding as well for our local projects. And it was a program within supporting implementation science teams to strengthen pandemic preparedness in long-term care. And it was a program that was done in parallel with a sister program, both within Health Excellence Canada, on Long-Term Care Plus, acting on pandemic learning together. And so providing supports within coaching, huddles, mentorship and facilitation of quality improvement within long-term care homes, because it became quite apparent after the first wave of the pandemic how hard hit the sector was. So about a bit over 80% of deaths in the beginning there of the pandemic in the first wave were of individuals in long-term care homes and retirement communities. So it became quite apparent the need for supports and improvements within implementing rapidly promising practices for pandemic preparedness and response within long-term care and retirement homes. And so within this program, there are 6 main themes within the program. So around prevention within COVID-19 infections and outbreaks in care homes, preparation around outbreaks, focus within staff, pandemic response surge capacity within that, care within COVID-19 and non-COVID-19 care being provided, and also quite importantly, supporting presence of family. So within this program, it spanned quite broadly of what topics to address within implementation. And for our project, there was 6 long-term care homes within Fraser Health Region that we got involved. And when determining of what themes to address, we could notice that it was quite diverse from each homes of what topics were of greatest concern for implementing promising practices. And so what we came up with our project idea was implementing a virtual quality improvement collaborative approach within to implement customized, personalized sort of promising practices for pandemic preparedness and response within each of the homes, and providing those supports within rapid implementation. And then with having 6 homes involved, to see what potential within sharing of learning across the homes to promote best practice in pandemic response. And so this approach, it had that virtual component. So we used the platform Slack as a communication tool to support within communication and planning within quality improvement. Also within our 6 homes and the quality improvement teams formed in those homes, they were provided external mentoring from trained QI facilitators. There were weekly huddles, and then also customized tools within quality improvement developed specific within needs of the sector and the level of knowledge within quality improvement. Within those teams, quite importantly, we promoted with having an interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary composition. So within leadership in the home, physicians, nurses, different care aides, allied health professionals, but then, and also quite importantly, engaging our residents and family members to be a member of the quality improvement team to support within determining what topics to prioritize in implementation, and also within implementing best practices. And then alongside that, within that concept of the collaborative within shared learning, there is a collaborative element within having a newsletter to share within the progress within the different quality improvement teams and their projects, and then the facilitators to help to facilitate lessons learned. And this project, it was conducted with over 2021. So we started within the spring and then rounding up within these projects to the point of the study within the fall of, or by November 2021. And that also gives some, some reflections within, by March there, we just had with vaccines coming in and being implemented within the home. So that was quite a topic of on people's mind at the start. And also where we had the needs and pressures in the sector evolved. So if you remember back to last year, we had a heat dome, and quite high temperatures in the homes were of a challenge for some, and then also forest fires. So we also had some added pressure where some of the residents from the interior were coming within Fraser Health as well. So within this content is really highlights how dynamic and how flexible and nimble within their supports around quality improvement that had to be receptive to. And just to share of what was accomplished within these 6 homes. So there was from about, some started up a little bit later. And so there was one home that had one project they tackled within improving communications with physicians, to up to 4 projects that some homes were tackling, to quite diverse nature. So I mentioned of allergy history, so vaccines just coming in, that became quite important to be able to readily be able to update that within the chart, facilitating a visitation, online booking of visitations, recreation activities individualized for residents, some of which were more isolated to their rooms. For staff, providing acknowledgement within their work, addressing grief that they were faced, facilitating online booking within family visitations. So really highlighting how the breadth and the diversity within the topics that were prioritized in the homes, and even somewhere they were the same topics being addressed, but in some cases it was the way that that topic was approached was quite different from home to home, depending upon the specific culture and the needs within that home. We also found that having a resident or family care partner as a part of the quality improvement team quite instrumental. So topics such as the one with hand sanitizer being identified, how people with mobility issues, facilitation with getting hands washed and hygiene within meals. So that an idea of having hand sanitizer provided alongside with their trays. So really highlighting the breadth of different change ideas that were brought about, and how within a multidisciplinary team and inclusion of residents and family, that there was quite good success within implementing promising practices within quite a short time period at a very pressed time during the pandemic and other pressures being faced by the sector. And with these numbers that you can see alongside the topics, the vast majority of these 16 projects, 5 reaching of a level of some level of improvement, and even to level of sustainment. So within with their 4 or 5 within significant improvement or sustainment as such. So really quite encouraging and also quite rewarding for the individuals involved. We had quite positive feedback from some of the resident and family care partners to be involved at that level and to understand a little bit more behind the scenes what was happening in the homes, and also highlighting the diversity and needs within challenges or opportunities for improvement in long-term care, and opportunities for innovation as well within long-term care. So some of the lessons learned within our project, and we alongside with supporting these multiple quality improvement projects, we were also conducting research within implementation science to understand how to do quality improvement better within this approach. So we conducted interviews with our quality improvement team members. There were 25 individuals that partaked in interviews prior to starting the quality improvement, midway, and at the end of the quality improvement study. And some of the lessons learned were about the importance within the multidisciplinary teams to customize approach within the needs within that the different long-term care homes. And that was even highlighted by the nature of the topics that they were each tackling. Really seeing the value within that multidisciplinary composition of the teams and how that provided different perspectives, and particularly within having a resident family partner being highly valued and bringing about some unique perspectives and ideas for change. There was within the majority of the homes, we 4 out of 6 that have that resident family partners, they were able to recruit within their quality improvement team. The team's composition from a couple to 10 members, we found that the optimal size was about 5 to 8 members. And then within that, having that diversity of multidisciplinary perspectives, leadership, physicians, nurses, different care team members, care aides, and then also ideally with resident and family involvement as well. It was found quite instrumental having those quality improvement facilitation supports, and we were able to achieve this through online format. So we had Slack as a communication platform and a means of tracking and facilitating within our projects, particularly helpful for our quality improvement facilitation team. We also use platforms such as we're using now with Zoom to be able to have weekly coaching and connections with the quality improvement teams to have those continuous supports were deemed as quite important to maintain this sustainability within conducting these quality improvement times, and particularly during pandemic times where there were so many pressures on the sector, and how it's found that over time, the increasing competence and progression within the projects, that the needs for supports, that the teams got to be a bit more independent as such. And also within this project and our facilitation team, they developed some sector-specific quality improvement tools. So this here is our quality improvement pathway for excellence that was developed to support within the team's quality improvement. In terms of the collaborative and that opportunity for shared learning, the collaborative activities allowed for learning across of homes, and then also where we found homes where there was pre-existing relationships, so that would help to facilitate sharing, and some were sharing within projects of a similar topic and shared learning there. And then within that virtual platform, there was success within being able to use the platform to support storing and sharing of files within quality improvement, and particularly within our quality improvement facilitation team. Within the quality improvement teams themselves, for some members it was more challenging, such as with care aides or certain with residents, to be able to have access to the platform as that, but otherwise quite helpful for our facilitation team. So quite impressive what was accomplished and learned within this short period of time during the pandemic. And I'd just like to extend our gratitude and big thanks to the Michael Smith Foundation for Health Research BC for funding and alongside co-funding with the BC Ministry of Health. We also had supports within our BC Patient Safety and Quality Council within the project. They were supporting with this Long-Term Care Plus program. Healthcare Excellence Canada, Canadian Institutes for Health Research within this funding program of implementation science teams. BC Support Unit Fraser Center was instrumental for supporting in our resident and family care partners. And then thanks to our implementation science team members, the quality improvement facilitation teams, the long-term care homes, and those involved in this project. So thank you very much. And thank you for your time to listen to our project.
Great. Thank you very much for your fascinating presentation, Dr. Sorensen, and also thank you to Dr. Lavalley for a great introduction. So next we have a presentation from Gil Schneider, the CEO of L9 Bioscience, who will be speaking about the great work that he and his team are doing. So Gil, the floor is yours.
Thank you for listening to our story of our research and development stage life sciences startup called L9 Bioscience. I am Gil Schneider, CEO. While I have a good amount of diversified business experience, I am new to the life sciences space, and joining Life Sciences BC has been an absolute godsend for me. I have to tell you, when L9 was selected by LSBC to participate in their investor readiness program, that was a huge benefit for our startup. Significantly, I was paired with and mentored by a past senior executive of prestigious Merck Canada. Like, how often do you get an opportunity to do that? So one of the learnings in the program was to start a presentation by explaining a pain point that you are solving. So the pain point that we are addressing may surprise you. I know it did me. And it was stated by the US National Institute of Health, the NIH. On their website, in bold letters, it says, "Prescription drugs kill us in great numbers." It actually says that, which was a big surprise for me. And the NIH goes on to say that, in fact, its prescription drugs that is the third leading cause of death after heart disease and cancer. Who knew? So in doing the research, prescription drugs since 2000 to today has killed about 16 million people and resulted in 40 million hospitalizations. So before I get into what L9's solution is, let me just give you a quick background on ourselves as company founders. I was vice president of new business development for Fortune 500 company Aramark Corporation for 15 years. And for perspective, Aramark at the time had 259,000 employees and annual revenues of over $13 billion. I started my own business, which after 7 years, I sold to who else? Aramark. I stayed on with Aramark for an additional 4 years as a consultant. And then I entered the securities industry and co-founded 5 capital pool corporations, which IPO'd on the TSX Venture Exchange. My partner, L9's co-founder, is Dr. Brazos Minshew, who has a great many of notable achievements, one of which is he's formulated a portfolio of 10 RX nutraceuticals that have to date collectively sold over $1 billion. He has now reformulated this portfolio as 2.0 versions for L9, which we will take forward in the future. Back to our solving our pain problem that I mentioned earlier. Dr. Minshew has invented a technology, which we call L9, which we have patented, that changes the molecular delivery of drugs so that it can greatly increase the gastric absorption or effectiveness while substantially reducing the toxic, harmful side effects. One preliminary product test showed an increase in bioavailability of 1,800%. This means we could potentially take a drug and make it 18 times more efficacious. It means that our technology could allow a patient to take 1/18 of the dosage and have the same impact. That in turn means less toxic side effects, and it translates into safer, cheaper, and more effective medicines. Also, by changing the molecular structure of the active pharmaceutical ingredient, the L9 technology can create a net new drug, for which we have coined and trademarked an exclusive term called an RX identic, which is different from a generic, which can be patented. This technology has unlimited growth potential as we go after drugs whose patents have recently expired, drugs who can be repurposed for different medical indications, drugs who have failed the FDA approval process. So of these, 36 are facing patent expirations by 2025 and do not have any biosimilars in development. Our research shows that this represents a $61 billion market opportunity. The NIH states that the cost to develop a new pharmaceutical drug can be up to as much as $4.54 billion. That's a huge number. But L9 has already formulated an RX-identic pharmaceutical drug, which is ready to be validated, patented, and commercialized by licensing. Again, it's different from a generic. The originator drug was selling over $1 billion annually for 20 years. Our drug is formulated with 9 times less active pharmaceutical ingredient, which means a lot less toxicity. The dosage is reduced from 50 milligrams to 30, which means greater effectiveness and at the same time, less toxicity. The effectiveness increased so that the drug needs to be taken less frequently, resulting in a safer medicine. L9's business model is to develop RX-identic biobetter drugs, patent them, and license them to pharmacos. L9 will collect royalties for the life of the patent, 20 years. Our milestone plan is to, within 4 to 6 months, to recreate the formulations and data for 3 wellness products and 1 pharmaceutical drug. Following the validation of the data, we will pursue partnering with industry-established wellness companies and pharmacos, which we have already identified. Our initial drug development targets are 4 drugs whose patents expired in 2020. The combined revenue of those drugs was $4.5 billion. Our financial forecast predicts a break even on year 2 and a bottom line revenue of $3.5 million in year 5. In terms of capital, so far we have funded the company's development ourselves. However, we are pursuing a pre-seed capital raise to continue our initial R&D. And of course, we are seeking Canadian government grants that L9 can qualify for as well. So in the future, within 18 months, we're planning to list the company's shares to trade on the Canadian Securities Exchange and graduate to the NASDAQ when the company qualifies to do so. So we are seeking executive talent and collaborative partnerships to help us take L9 forward. And may I mention, we have a highly acclaimed advisory cohort standing with us who believe in what we are doing. So if this resonates with you, and if you are interested in partnering with us, please give me a call. Thank you for listening.
Great. Thank you, Gil, for your wonderful presentation, and appreciate the great feedback on our investor readiness program, which will be starting again this summer. So I would encourage if any SMEs are out there and would like to participate in the program, please look out for when the applications open. It is now with pleasure that I welcome Dr. Sharon Lewis, Senior Vice President, Research and Development with STEMCELL Technologies. Over to you, Sharon.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm really happy to be part of the presenters today at the Showcase Series in Surrey. I'm Sharon Lewis. I'm the Senior Vice President of R&D at STEMCELL Technologies. I have been with STEMCELL Technologies for about 23 years, and over the course of 20 years, I've accumulated a lot of experience and knowledge in product design and development for products that support the research use only market, as well as GMP or higher compliance markets. I'm happy to present an overview of stem cells, and we are scientists helping scientists to do their research, to develop cutting edge technologies to pursue science in order for them to discover new ways and treatments for human diseases. And we cannot do that without the close collaboration and partnerships with academia, industry, as well as government. So without any delay, who we are can best be stated in our vision and mission. We want to have our products used in all research labs around the world, facilitating discoveries in life sciences. Our mission is to advance the pursuit of scientific knowledge and understanding by supplying high-quality, innovative reagents, tools, and services that enable life sciences researchers to do their work better. We follow through our mission through our values of innovation to continue to nurture creativity and drive innovation, always keeping quality at the center of our goals, meeting the highest standards for our products as well as our collaborations. We want to be responsive to move quickly to support basic and clinical research. We are truthful in all our dealings, and we are very collaborative in that we work with researchers to advance scientific knowledge. You've all heard about the promise of stem cell research and cellular therapies. Researchers who are working with embryonic stem cells or induced pluripotent stem cells, these are cells that have been reprogrammed to behave like embryonic stem cells, or those working with adult tissue-specific stem cells, and the cell types that are derived from these stem cells, use foundational tools and reagents to either culture or enrich those cells. Researchers want to understand the cells in terms of the cell differentiation potential. What can these cells differentiate into representing cell types in the human body. They want to use cultured or enriched cells to understand and prevent or treat cancer and diseases. For the drug developers and pharmaceuticals, they want to look at drug screening for potential therapeutics using cell cultures as well as enriched cells or isolated cell types. And as you've heard from Gil, researchers also culture cells to look at the toxic effects of drugs during the toxicity testing in the long drug discovery and drug toxicity pipelines. At the end of the day, some researchers want to take their research to translational medicine and use the enriched cells or the cultured cells to cure cancer and various diseases. For example, using bone marrow to treat leukemias. We can culture nerve cells for the treatment of neurodegenerative diseases such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease. We know we can culture heart muscle cells, but are we culturing the right muscles cells for heart disease? And there's been a lot of promise for the expansion or the growth of pancreatic islet cells for the treatment of diabetes. And there are several clinical trials that are active today. Stem cell technologies provides all the tools for researchers at every step of their workflow, whether it's for research use as well as for translational medicine. STEMCELL is Canada's largest life sciences company. It was founded by Dr. Alan Eaves. He is the president and CEO. Alan, after he retired at the age of 65, dedicated his time, full time, to STEMCELL. He incorporated the company in 1993, and we have been profitable since inception. The profits are reinvested back into the company in order for us to grow. Our head office is in Vancouver, BC, and I'm sitting here in our head office. We have 1,800 employees worldwide, with 1,400 across 10 Canadian provinces. We have 275 employees who have PhDs and about 280 who have MSCs. STEMCELL Technologies has a global presence. We have 14 facilities across the globe, with 6 in North America, including just outside Seattle, 3 in Europe, and 5 in Asia. In the dark gray areas, we are able to supply our customers directly through our direct sales offices. And we are able to do that for 22 countries. For the rest of the world in light gray, we work with a network of distributors to support and supply products to over 90 other countries. We provide over 2,500 products and services, as I mentioned, to support the life sciences research. Our products can be divided into 5 major product lines that include primary cells, so primary human cells that are blood derived. We have cell separation technologies to allow researchers to isolate unique and subpopulations out of the primary cells. Cell culture media to grow, expand, and differentiate as well as characterize the cells. Instruments to allow automation, full walkaway automation, so that standard and routine lab protocols can be automated and standardized. We have education and training courses, both for our clients and customers, as well as for internal employees. STEMCELL cell isolation products provide fast and easy isolation methods for different cells from multiple sources. Different cell populations exist in different tissues, and these need to be isolated for either research or translational medicine. And by multiple sources, this could mean different tissues from human sources or as well from animal. Our cell isolation products are based on the EasySep platform. It's fast, easy, so researchers get the cells that they decide to work on quickly. It's based on an immunomagnetic antibody-based technology, where cells are incubated used with antibodies. The antibodies link the cells to magnetic particles. The cell sample is then placed in a magnet. Cells that are labeled with a magnetic particle are retained because of their magnet properties in the magnet, and cells that are not labeled with a particle can be poured off. And this is your enriched sample. Researchers can use this system both in small scale and gradually increase in volume from different sources. They can either do a manual protocol or they can use an instrument to automate their protocols. This cell isolation instrument is based on the EasyCep platform. So you may ask, why is cell isolation so important? Well, cell isolation technologies play a key role in the manufacturing of advanced cellular therapies. And one of the cellular therapies that I want to describe is called immune cell therapy to treat leukemia based on the chimeric antigen receptor, or CAR T cells. In this diagram, we show where products from STEMCELL can support researchers who are working with CAR T at every step of their protocol. For example, fresh blood or frozen leukapheresis is isolated from a patient. We supply these cells. The cells can then be subjected to the EasyCep isolation kits to isolate T cells, for example. The T cells are then cultured with a T cell activator in a culture dish. They can be activated and then modified to create a CAR T. The CAR T contains a receptor that's able to recognize a leukemic cell or a cancer cell, target that cell, and kill it. So the modified T cells are usually expanded in an expansion media to get lots of these specific cells, T cells. Once the cells have expanded, you have enough cell numbers in order to provide an effective dose to treat the patient. The cells are then transfused back into the patient. So STEMCELL has products to help in this area. STEMCELL also continues to be on top of all new products for culturing cells, and in particular for the culture of cells in the organoid culture system. This system of culturing cells is a revolutionary technology to study tissues, yes, tissues in a dish. Nature Methods, which is a high-profile scientific journal, published in 2017 that organoid cultures was the method of the year. And here is an example of kidney cells or kidney aggregates in a dish. And why is this culture so important? The organoid three-dimensional culture more closely resembles the physiological structure of a tissue that's present in human bodies. It represents the function and the biology of those cells better than a two-dimensional traditional system, which is a flat plastic dish. Cultures, because they are more physiologically relevant, are more predictive of human biology, and therefore can be used for those toxicity studies I talked about, and therefore potentially reduce the number of animals that are used in the later stage of toxicity testing, because you can identify toxicity at the early stage in your drug discovery and drug toxicity studies. And because these organoids better represent tissue biology, it facilitates better disease modeling as well as personalized medicine. STEMCELL supplies organoid media for over 20 different tissue types, including media for kidney, intestinal cells, lung, which was very important during COVID-19 research, as well as cultures media for brain cells. Because we are expanding, and also to meet the growing demands of our customers for not only research use only, but high compliant products, we have invested in an advanced biological manufacturing facility, or ABMF, in Burnaby. This is a picture of where the facility is located. The distribution center is up and running, and the ABMF facility is in its final days of construction. STEMCELL not only supports the life sciences markets and customers, through our products and our services, but we are also a critical anchor company supporting the Canadian life sciences ecosystems in these areas. Going clockwise, STEMCELL has been growing over 20 to 30% per year, creating hundreds of jobs locally, as well as internationally. We are an export-driven company with 97% of our sales being outside of Canada. We have hundreds of new positions every year. We have 300 open positions currently, and we plan to hire over 5,000 people by 2030. We're very proactive and disciplined about creating intellectual property here in Canada and maintaining it in Canada. We have a well-defined IP program and strategy. We have 45 independent inventions, 118 patents which we hold, and over 95 patent applications. We pride ourselves in investing in talent and developing talent. We have over 650 online courses over many disciplines, including leadership and development, scientific and technical courses, product information, as well as career development and personal effectiveness courses. We are also providing talent, trained talent, to the local life sciences companies in BC. We are a preferred partner in the commercialization of products. We have been having a long history of working with universities, colleges, and various associations. In the past year, we supported 44 collaborations with Canadian universities. We also work very closely with education institutions locally as well as in Canada, and train over 100 co-ops per year. STEMCELL is making changes to operate in an environmentally sustainable manner. We have recently established the environment management system within STEMCELL to provide us with a framework of policies, processes, and systems to improve our environmental footprint. And finally, STEMCELL is committed to fostering diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we have signed up with the Minister of Industry, Science and Economic Development 50-30 Challenge. And we're actively improving and looking at strategies to improve representation for Black, Indigenous, and people of color. So I mentioned about all the jobs that we have posted as well as future opportunities. So if you're interested in science, not only in scientific research, but jobs that are branch out from science, I'm putting the job.stemcell.com here for your interests. And finally, we live our culture of scientists helping scientists. We want to provide products to our scientists so they can do their job better, so they can find cures for cancers and other diseases. This is a life science bronze statue that was commissioned by STEMCELL. It was carved by the acclaimed sculptor Ruth Abernathy, who honors now Canadian stem cell scientists Dr. James Still and Ernest McCullough, and it sits outside the Science World facility. Thank you.
Great, thank you for your excellent presentation there, Dr. Lewis. It was very informative. And the next speaker is Dr. Carolyn Sparrey, Scientific Director, Simon Fraser University, Imagine Tech Lab. The floor is now yours, Carolyn.
Thank you very much. Let me share my screen with you all now. So thanks very much, Ryan and Claire and the rest of the Life Sciences BC group. It's a great opportunity to come and talk to you a little bit about some of the exciting stuff that's happening at SFU. I was approached to tell the story of something interesting at SFU, and there's so many interesting things. I had to pick just one for today. So I'm going to do Image Tech Lab for today, but there's a whole lot more good stuff happening. So I'm Carolyn. I'm a professor in mechatronic systems engineering at SFU in Surrey, as well as the scientific director of SFU's Image Tech Lab. So let's do a quick and efficient introduction to what Image Tech is all about and the great work that we're doing there. So the ImageTech Lab is an imaging research center. It opened in the fall of 2018 in Surrey Memorial Hospital. Over 10, I think at this point we're up to about $12 million invested in equipment and facility and the whole place. We have a team of expert physicists, technologists, clinical care providers, all as part of this facility, really to help us get to our vision, which is to be a state-of-the-art imaging center that's recognized both for research and innovation, that we compete on the local stage, but also is really locally relevant and focused on what the need is within Surrey and Fraser Health. So the ImageTech Lab is at Surrey Memorial Hospital. So if you've been there for some reason or another, you've probably walked right past our elevator entrance and maybe noticed it and wondered what on earth it might be, or maybe haven't even noticed it. So we're in the basement of Surrey Memorial Hospital. It's a new facility, clean and neat and almost nothing like what you'll see on the clinical side of medical imaging. We've got a 3 Tesla MRI as well as an MEG system that really allow us to look at the brain particularly and neuroscience questions, but as well we can look at the whole body with our 3 Tesla MRI. So we have some really interesting technologies. One is something called an MEG. We have a 275 channel CTF MEG. CTF is a local company in Coquitlam that manufactures these systems and deploys them around the world. We have a Philips 3T Ingenia CX whole body MRI. Recently, during the pandemic, as all human subjects research was paused for a significant amount of time, and all of the wait lists for healthcare went up, we took ImageTech through the full accreditation, the clinical accreditation process. So we are now able to offer, in addition to research scans, full clinical scans. We've implemented contrast enhanced MRI, which means you can do a range of studies and tests that you weren't previously able to do, and particularly allows us to support a broad range of clinical trials that require contrast enhanced MRI. In addition, within this space, we've got participant consult space and prep space, which allow you to do things like neuropsych assessments or other measurements on a research participant immediately before they go into the imaging facility. What's particularly interesting about ImageTech is this 375 channel MEG system. MEG is magnetoencephalography. It's capturing the magnetic signals of your brain. So as your brain is functioning, it's emitting magnetic signals well, electromagnetic signals. And this system is picking up very minute signals in real time. So it's capturing your brain function at a temporal resolution that's not possible with any other technology. This is the only MEG system west of Ontario. There's 3 in Toronto, and then there's nothing between Toronto and us. And this allows researchers, clinicians, a unique insight into how the brain functions, how the different regions of the brain can talk to each other, and is used in a broad range of applications, from things like looking at epilepsy and understanding where activity is being initiated, all the way through to things like subtle differences in how brain regions communicate in kids with autism versus kids without. So there's lots of questions and things you can measure. It's really an objective tool that lets you look at things like a treatment efficacy. So when you do a drug treatment, can you see a measurable difference in brain function as a result of that treatment? That's really what MEG is fantastic for. It's complemented by our 3 Tesla MRI system. The MRI system is really the state of the art in clinical scanning. We have the full suite and full complement of clinical capabilities, as well as a broad range of research capabilities and research tools, things like spectroscopy, things like myelin water imaging, that allow you to get a really good picture of how the brain functions. In addition to the full suite of head and neck coils, we also have now a range of musculoskeletal coils that allow you to look at things like your knees, your hips, your ankles, pelvis, shoulders, all of these things that may be of interest either to researchers or clinicians. What we're trying to do in this facility, we really want to be looking at how we get fundamental research out into clinical practice. And this is the real benefit of having an integrated research and clinical facility, is that we're seeing firsthand the clinical challenges, the workflow challenges, all the logistical challenges that come with running a clinical facility. And we can really start to think about how we can tailor the current state of the art in research and adapt it and integrate it into our clinical care. We're really looking and working with a very broad range of people, from health authorities, where we're looking at really just workflows and optimization and how we address challenges of specific populations, priorities. We can look and work with clinicians on different ways to image the body, looking at different questions they might have around injury, infection, disease. We work now with a range of pharmaceutical companies and clinicians who are doing clinical trials of a broad range of drugs and technologies that they want to look at. And we're also at heart a fundamental research facility. So we're working on technique development and technology development, and we're integrating that in with our networks with CTF, the manufacturer of the MEG system, and Philips, to make sure that our advancements are really being deployed and having maximum impact. And I wanted to give you a really simple example of something that, one of the benefits of having our research and our clinical care embedded in one facility. Of course, we're always looking for the biggest, best state-of-the-art sort of impact and technologies that we can integrate. But even small discoveries, little things that make a patient experience better, make the quality of their imaging better, is important, because that's what medical decisions can be made on. And in this case, for example, the MRI, for those of you that have not had one, it's like going in a small tunnel of a child's slide. It can be very constraining, and some people really have trouble being claustrophobic in that environment. We were able to leverage the unique setup of our research system, which has a presentation screen at the top of the bore, has a mirrored lens system that allows a participant to see out of the bore. Typically, we would use that in a research study to show somebody something and trigger a response within the brain. In this case, we showed jellyfish, we showed ocean waves, and these simple changes in how we handled our participants. We've had only 2 in over, I think, about 1,800 scans now of people that had to leave because they were feeling claustrophobic. That's a marked improvement over what typically would happen. So we're looking at the full spectrum of sort of contribution and development, whether it's something really simple and impacts a workflow, or something that's really state of the art. The range of current projects we have underway at ImageTech, there's numerous, ranging from fundamentals of how different regions of the brain work together in a healthy human brain, through using imaging as biomarkers for different conditions such as chronic pain, autism, looking at treatment efficacy. So when you put in a stent, how does that change the blood flow, and how does that change in blood flow linked to neurofunction as a result? As well, we're looking at things like chronic fatigue. We're working with BC Cancer and developing an MR sim for radiation therapy planning, as well as supporting a broad range of clinical trials. So things that we're interested in, things that we're looking to connect on, and ways that you can get involved with us. One, the range of clinical questions that we're looking at and looking for collaborators and supporters, applications in pediatrics, especially with the MEG. That's a really low barrier and non-invasive way to look at different issues with kids and neurodevelopment, mental health issues, substance use issues, aging, mild traumatic brain injury, orthopedics, spine health, back pain. All of these things are questions that we're really trying to dig into in our facility, and would be happy to talk to those that may be interested in that. and how you can get involved. One is just spread the word, talk about this interesting place you heard about the next time you're talking to people in this space. You're welcome. ImageTech is what has been designated a core facility. That means that it's a university-wide centralized facility. It's not my lab. I don't own it. I just help champion it and support it. And it's open to a broad range of research studies, clinical trials, fee-for-service scanning. The facility is built on a cost recovery model, so it is a nonprofit facility just looking at recovering costs associated with doing these activities. You are also more than welcome to volunteer for research studies. Reach out to us if you're students looking for research opportunities or training opportunities. Feel free to reach out. So thank you very much. Eight minutes is a very short amount of time to tell you the total overview of the facility, but hopefully that whet your appetite enough to entice you to try and find out more. So I will copy this link into the chat as well, but please feel free to go look us up and see how we can help you. So thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Sparrey, and very exciting work that you're doing, and would love your enthusiasm. So that's wonderful. And to finish our presentations for the day, please welcome Anita Huberman, President and CEO, Surrey Board of Trade.
Thank you so much. I actually only have 2 minutes because we're supposed to end at 5 and are very respectful of your time and pleased to host this event, be the marketing partner with Biosciences BC. Everyone, Surrey is an opportunity city. The Surrey Board of Trade, as a membership, not-for-profit entity under the Federal Ministry of Economic Development, is here to support business through a very diversified service portfolio. We are active partners in Surrey's Health and Technology District, ensuring not only where we're creating economic hubs in general health technology, but all types of technology from startup phase to scale up phase. Surrey is a city where we can offer a variety of support for you, give you access to global markets, and the Surrey Board of Trade is your concierge to connections, to government, to stakeholders, to get things done. That is our track record of success. And certainly I've been president of the Surrey Board of Trade for 16 years, with the organization for 29 years. I'm an honorary captain of the Royal Canadian Navy. And certainly the life sciences sector, the technology sector, the innovation that is taking place in Surrey is what is making Surrey an opportunity city. So if you need anything, please check out our website at businessinsurrey.com. And remember, the Surrey Board of Trade is here for you. Over to you, Ryan.
Great. Thank you so much, Anita. And she always has such a wonderful passion for the city of Surrey. And definitely I would recommend checking out their website. And they've always been a fantastic partner to us. So that concludes our event, but just wanted to thank our event partners, Michael Smith Health Research BC, Silicon Valley Bank and STEMCELL Technologies, also our event supporter, the Surrey Board of Trade. And our showcase series is only possible due to all of their generous support. So also would like to highlight for you a number of exciting events that we have coming up. On June 8th, we have our BC showcase for the Bio San Diego. So this is just showcasing all of the wonderful BC companies that will be attending that conference in San Diego. That conference is on from the June 13th to 16th. If you are attending as an individual or as a company, please let us know so that we can make sure that we invite you to all the wonderful events that we're doing. June 23rd, I'm very excited to announce it as our summer social. It is going to be our first in-person event that we have had since the Showcase Series in Victoria, March 11th, 2020. So that's going to be a very exciting night. We also have on September 22nd, our awards presented by Ferris will be there. Nominations are now open, so I would encourage you to go to our website to find more information to do that. And lastly, I'd like to thank all of our annual sponsors. We really are grateful for your continued support. As you can see them there, and really without you, none of this would be possible. So thank you again for attending Life Sciences BC Showcase Series, Surrey. Enjoy your evening and look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you and take care.